Good taste is easy to spot, but hard to pin down. You know it when you see it. With your car, you want something sophisticated and daring, yet classic, approachable, but with an air of opulence. That's where the Range Rover Evoque comes in. The Range Rover Evoque is charisma in motion, art and craft in equal measure. Its exterior is a quietly bold expression of Range Rover DNA with a floating roof, continuous waistline, and three-dimensional grille that give it a captivating character. Inside, you'll find a calm, minimalist cabin anchored by a tactile gear shifter where clean lines, sumptuous materials, and advanced technology come together. Make a statement in the Range Rover Evoque. This elegant SUV elevates every drive, offering a new dimension of refinement and luxury. Whether you prefer a modern aesthetic or a warmer, authentic appearance, the Evoque's interior can be tailored to your taste. Ready to experience sophisticated design and premium materials in motion? Explore the Range Rover Evoque at LandRoverUSA.com. This is Optimal Living Daily, The Habit of Calm When You're Feeling Frustrated, by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. And I'm Justin Malik, your very own personal narrator today and every day. Me narrating means there are no interviews on this show. It's just a short podcast where we can both improve our lives one day at a time. So with that, let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. The Habit of Calm When You're Feeling Frustrated, by Babauta of ZenHabits.net. Someone recently asked me about getting frustrated when they feel overloaded and then shutting down or lashing out. Quote, "This has been something I've struggled with for most of my life. I had an instance today where I could have been more calm and rational about the situation, but calm and rationality gave way to frustration and anger. I'm wondering what habits I can use instead to keep from falling into fits of anger," end quote. This probably sounds familiar to some of us. We feel overloaded and then maybe lash out at someone in frustration and anger. This comes from the hope that things will be calm, orderly, simple, solid, and under control. The world doesn't comply with this hope, however, as it is chaotic, disorder, constantly changing, never fixed, and groundless. So we get frustrated, angry at others, and feel anxiety. So how do we deal with the frustration that arises? How can we create a habit of calm? I'm going to share a series of practices that you can turn into habits. When you notice yourself feeling frustrated, instead of lashing out, practice the following. If you practice them over and over, whenever you notice frustration, you will start to shift. The first practice is to catch your habitual pattern as early as you can and shifting by not allowing yourself to indulge in it. When you notice yourself getting frustrated and feeling overloaded, notice the urge to go to your habitual pattern, like shutting down or lashing out, but pause instead of indulging it. The next practice is to drop into the body. Again, pause and let yourself take a breath. Drop your attention into your body and notice the sensations of frustration and overwhelm. Stay with these sensations with curiosity. Notice how strong the urge to lash out feels and just savor that strong feeling instead of acting on it. Open up to it, relax around it, be with it. Love this feeling if you can, or at least be compassionate with it. Once you practice this, you get more and more comfortable being in the middle of frustration, and you don't need to relieve the feeling by lashing out. You now have more space to calm yourself and do the next practice. So the third practice is to use this newfound space to connect to the other person. Now, I understand that you might be angry at them, and so connecting to them is the last thing you want to do. The heart is closed to them because you think they are the problem. The problem is your closed heart. Try not indulging in that shutting down and opening yourself a little. This is a challenging but transformative practice. From this place, notice the other person. They're acting the way they're acting because they're feeling some kind of pain themselves. Maybe they're feeling insecure, anxious, or worried about the future. Maybe they're hurt by something you did and are themselves lashing out in frustration. We can understand that. You're feeling the same thing. In this way, the two of you are connected. Maybe you've responded to their frustration with frustration of your own. Now you are suffering like they're suffering. You're connected in this way, the same. Let this sameness open you up to them, understanding them in a more human way. They are not the problem. They are suffering like you are. You're in this together. Now, how can you work on this together? And the final practice is try to find an appropriate, loving, and compassionate response. You've empathized with the other person, but now you need to take action. The answer of what action to take is not always easy, but at the very least, you're not responding from a place of anger, which is a place that gives rise to inappropriate responses like lashing out. What is an appropriate, loving, compassionate response? Well, it really depends on the situation. Some examples: the other person is upset and going through a hard time, so you help them calm down, listen to their frustrations, offer empathy and compassion, and talk through a solution together. The other person acted inconsiderately, but perhaps was unaware of how they affected you, so you come to them when you've calmed down and talk to them compassionately about it, sharing the impact of their actions on you, and asking calmly for a specific thing they can do in the future instead. The other person is not willing to engage in a compassionate dialogue and is set upon being a jerk. You can't talk to them calmly because they argue with everything. In this case, you might get a third party to mediate, like a couples counselor or a manager in your workplace. Or the other person is abusive. You empathize with the pain they must feel in order to be like this, but you also remove yourself from the situation to protect yourself from harm. You try to help them get the help they need while being firm about your boundaries. As you can see, there are many possibilities, many more than I can list here. These are just some examples to show you that you can find a loving, appropriate response to the situation if you come from a place of compassion and calm. In the end, this stuff takes a lot of practice, but it's immeasurably more helpful to do these practices than to lash out, which hurts not only the other person, but yourself as well. You just listened to the post titled, "The Habit of Calm When You're Feeling Frustrated" by Leo Babauta of zenhabits.net, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Everything from our watches to our light bulbs is getting smarter. Isn't it time your e-commerce business caught up? Enter ShipStation, the game-changing solution that's revolutionizing how businesses handle shipping. As someone who's experienced the power of ShipStation firsthand, I can't overstate how transformative it's been for my operations. The ability to manage orders from over 180 platforms in one dashboard is a lifesaver. But what really blew me away was the automation. With a click, I'm printing shipping labels and saving hours of manual work. And let's talk about those carrier discounts. We're talking up to 89% off UPS, DHL Express, and USPS rates. It's like having a secret weapon in the competitive world of e-commerce. ShipStation isn't just about saving money, though. It's about scaling smart. You can boost efficiency, all while bringing your costs down. Lead your e-commerce business into a smarter future with a shipping software that delivers. Switch to ShipStation today. Go to ShipStation.com and use code OLD to sign up for your free 60-day trial. That's ShipStation.com, code OLD.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality bikes, which might lead to another discovery. Getting back on the saddle isn't always comfortable. Good news is Sierra has massage guns. And chafe wipes, too. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Thank you to Leo. He mentioned that the first step is noticing our urge to go into a habitual pattern. And I love that language because it's also something I learned while at a personal development retreat. We all have patterns we go into when we're faced with, well, lots of things: stress, anxiety, pain, and so on. And they become so habitual that we don't even see them. Like for me personally, mine tends to be withdrawal as one example. Before, if someone were to ask me, I probably would have said, "Oh, I'm just an introvert. I recharge by being alone. So if I'm not feeling good, I'll go be alone." But I realized with a lot of investigating that there's more to it than that. It's a pattern. And I don't withdraw just because I need to recharge or I'm socially drained. It could be because I'm angry or sad about something, and withdrawing for me is easier than doing something about it. I could be in some kind of physical pain, maybe stressed. It could be lots of things, and I'll end up withdrawing. And this is just one pattern of many. Anxiety itself could be a habitual pattern, like worrying. Thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, I'm broken. These are all patterns too. And if we're not aware that we have them, they can just sit there in the background and get stuck. And it's not easy, but the first step, as always, is to recognize that they do exist, and then hopefully from there we can work on it. It's a slight deviation from this article, but something that I think is worth talking about and worth considering today and this weekend. Thank you for being here and listening every day, including the weekends. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.